All right, guys, Mr. Moscato with you again. Last time that we took a look at our cap, we had just added the bead of material around the inside, all right, of the cap. All right, that's part of our compression fitting. All right, the next thing that we're going to do to finish off this cap then is we are going to add some nubs around the outside of the cap, and this is going to be for aesthetic reasons, and it's also going to be um, for purposes of having a better grip on the bottle. All right, so if we take a look at the schematic and we go back um, to our instructions, all right, you can see that we're going to create these little protrusions around the edge of the cap. All right, so kind of the nice thing about Creo here is that we can create one of these protrusions, all right, and then simply copy or pattern the items around the outside of the cap. So it's very similar to a revolve, but we are going to be adding instances of a single feature, all right, around the outside of the cap. All right. So let's take a look at how to create one nub, and then we'll go ahead and pattern that and create multiple nubs. All right, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to roll the cap over. Remember that to draw something, we need to have a flat surface or a plane. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to draw on the flat surface that's on the underside of the cap. All right, so this is an extrusion, so we're going to select our extrude tool. We're going to go ahead and place that. We're going to place that sketch. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that flat surface. All right, on the underside of the cap. All right, so when I mouse over it, it should say surf. All right, and then go ahead and sketch. Before I start to sketch, there's two things that I need to know. All right, I need to know exactly where the outside of this cap is, right? Where is this edge, this silhouette, this surface? All right, so I'm going to add a reference there. Okay, so if you just select a reference tool and approach the cap from the outside, all right, you'll get that that surf revolve pop-up. All right, go ahead and left-click there, and you'll see it added to your references. Okay, and then I also want to reference my x-axis because I'm not sure if that's referenced or not. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and select that x-axis as well. Okay, and you can see that it's added a second reference here. All right, go ahead and close that out. The nub itself, the sketch for the nub itself is it's like a semicircle. It's not quite a semicircle. It's a little bit deeper than a semicircle, right? Because we're dealing with a curved surface here. All right, so it is an arc of radius 2. So we're going to go to the more button here. Pull that down, find the arc tool, and find our center and ends tool. All right, so remember the center and ends tool. We're going to set the center of the arc first, and then we're going to select the two points, right? The two endpoints that make up the arc. So I'm going to select the intersection of the x-axis and that circular reference that we added before. All right, left click and release. I'm going to go ahead and drag upward along that circular reference. All right, left click, drag the arc out and around until it comes back to our reference. Left click. Okay. Now, while I have the center and ends tool, arc tool selected, all right, I'm also go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and close this off. So remember that this is also an arc. All right, so I do want to create a closed sketch. Now, this piece of arc, all right, is built off of this center, the center at the origin here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set the center of my my closing arc, all right, at the center of the cap. Left click there. All right, I'm going to drag until the endpoint pops onto where the endpoint of the arc that we just drew and the circular reference is. All right, so left click there, and then drag it down until we intersect the bottom of the arc, okay, down here. Left click there, okay. Once I have all of that, I'm going to go ahead and deselect the tool. All right, and you can see that I have an enclosed area here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and set that arc value, okay, that radius value of 2. All right, so remember that this is a radius, okay, because it's got one arrow pointing at the arc from the outside. That's our sketch. We're good to go. All right, we're not missing anything here, so I'm going to go ahead and green check mark this guy. All right, and now we're ready to extrude this, right? So I'm just going to roll this guy over a little bit. All right, so to extrude this thing, first of all, I can see that it's extruding in the wrong direction, so that's okay, right? I'm going to go up here next to where the extrusion dimension is, all right, and I'm going to change the direction of the extrusion, right? So just, you can toggle between, you know, one direction or another just by toggling those arrows, okay? The other thing that I want to do is I don't need a linear dimension here. The whole idea is that we are going to extrude this nub until we get to this top surface up here, right? So I don't need to know exactly how tall that nub needs to be, all right? All I need to know is that, all I need to tell Creo is, hey, start extruding this thing all the way up to the top until we intersect, right, with this top surface up here, all right, the top of the cap. So to do that, we're going to go over to our extrude options and hit the down arrow. And you can see that we have a bunch of different extrude options. And we're going to be dealing with most of these in class. The one that I want is this one, the one that has the extrusion mark and the red line. And it says extrude to intersect, or to extrude to selected point, curve, plane, or surface. So we're gonna use that one. Okay, options is lit up. It's basically asking me, okay, so you want to extrude to a selected curve, plane, or surface. Which one? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this top surface. All right, so this top curved surface. All right, and make sure that you have the right surface selected, and left click there. All right, and then you'll see that Pro-E kind of extrudes that upwards. All right, and actually matches, right, the that surface, all right, to the top of the nub. So that's kind of a cool feature. All right, we're going to go ahead and green check mark that and save your file right away. All right, and let's turn off our planes view here because it's in the way right now. All right, so view and then planes view. Okay. So that is our single nub. Let me get that into the middle of the screen there. All right, so you can see that that's a pretty nice little feature that we have there. All right. All right, so we have one of those. We need 23 more. All right. We're not going to have to draw 23 more of these guys. I have one of them. All right, I can basically, you know, in essence, copy these all the way around the center of my cap, around the outside of the cap. All right, so that's what we're going to do. All right, so go back to your Schools tab, and then you want to make sure that Extrude 1 is selected. All right, so we're just going to click once on Extrude 1. All right, it kind of highlights it in green over here in the model view. Okay, and then this tool up here, this pattern tool lights up. Right, so if nothing is selected, right, the pattern tool is dark. It means that it's not available. All right, but if we go to Extrude 1, we select Extrude 1, right, just single click on that, and then the pattern tool lights up. That means that Creo says that, okay, we have a feature selected, and you know, we can, that tool is now available. So I'm going to click on the pattern tool, and there's a bunch of different kinds of patterns. All right, so if you go over here on the dashboard and you hit the down arrow, okay, we will be dealing with dimension, direction, and axis patterns. All right, and there's a few others as well that we won't be dealing with in this class in particular, but we'll definitely be dealing with dimension, direction, and axis patterns. All right. The kind of pattern that we want is an axis, right? We're gonna basically copy. We're gonna pattern this nub around a circle, basically. All right. So we're gonna select axis. All right, and then Creo is asking us, right? There's a red dot up here. It's like, well, what are we patterning around? Okay. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that our axis view is turned on. All right. So if the axis view is not turned on and you don't see an A1 down the middle of your cap, all right, then what you need to do, all right, is you can go over here to the datum display filters. All right, click on that and just make sure that axis display is turned on. All right, so you can toggle that on and off. Okay. So my axis display is turned on, and basically what happens is that I have this axis A1 that I'm going to pattern around. When we created the revolve, we created, right, we basically created an axis to revolve around. All right, so here's that axis again, so we're going to use it again. All right, so once I select it, it highlights in green, okay? And then by default, anytime we do an axis pattern, Creo assumes that we want 4 members in the pattern spaced at 90 degrees, okay? What we're going to do is we want 24 members. All right, so you're going to type in 24 in the number of members. All right, but then what's the spacing? Okay, well, we could take 360 degrees, right? 360 degrees in a circle. We could take that value and divide it by 24 manually and come up with a number. Okay, but that seems like a whole lot of work that I don't want to do. So the other thing that we can do is we can just click on this little angle here, all right, and then Pro E will do the calculation for us. So I'm going to click on that angle, and you can see basically that I have a bunch of black dots all the way around the outside of the cap. Okay, so that's basically where all of the members are going to go. All right, so if you count the black dots, we'll have 24 of these all the way around, equally spaced apart. We're going to go ahead and green check mark that guy. All right, and almost as if by magic, we have all of the members of our pattern set. Okay, if we ever need to change the number of members, right? So let's say we don't want 24, we want 30 or 36 or something like that. We can go back, right click on pattern 1, all right, and hit the little pencil with the what looks like the tennis ball there, edit definition. All right, we just go back up here, right, change it to however many members we want, let's say 30. Okay, it adds a few more, right? We just make sure that you know, that's calculated correctly. All right, and then we green check mark it, right, and now we have 30 nubs around the outside of our cap. All right, go ahead and save that. So however many nubs you want, 24, 30, 36, all right, whatever your favorite number is. Go ahead and save that. All right, and that is it for the cap. The cap is done. Our bottle is done. In the next and last video, we will take a look at how to assemble the bottle and the cap, right? So we're actually going to put the cap on the bottle to finish this off. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.